Hello, my name is Margaret Adele, and welcome to my long skirt collection. I feel like when I tell people that I'm a long skirt girly, they think, oh, she has a handful and wears them with some regularity, and that is a valid long skirt girly, but that does not exactly convey the level of obsessed I am. I have not worn a pair of pants in I don't remember how long, but it has definitely been years. I know it's been at least 5 years since I last wore a pair of jeans, and I only wore those because one of my coworkers wanted me to dress up with her for Twin Day for Spirit Week, and I hated the feeling of the jeans against my skin so much I immediately got rid of the pants afterwards and haven't worn jeans since. I forgot how much of a sensory nightmare those things were. Regardless, I wanted to talk about my collection because it is a collection, something I have been working on for 7-ish years now since I first realized, oh, I love long skirts and I can just wear them like all the time, like just to work and stuff. And I am really proud of my current collection. It's going to keep growing, but as of right now, it is currently sitting at 50 skirts, 49 you will see, and then the 50th we will be unboxing because I did just buy my 50th, hence why I wanted to do this video. And also because I'm a booktuber currently under a read less challenge. So, like, reading less gives me less to talk about. Perfect time to talk about my skirts instead. But I did want to come up with a couple points of clarification here because I know long skirts still come with weird expectations. So let's just run this through real quick. No, I am not some kind of conservative religious trad wife. In fact, if you notice, most of my skirts aren't what they usually would wear. I do have religious accoutrement that I wear, but it's not what you'd think, and it's not for the religion you'd think. This is my torque, copper, this is my kerchief. I am a veiling Brigidine pagan. So, this is not a modest is hottest nonsense. This is literally just, I love me a good, long, swooshy, colorful skirt. Now, let's get into what I have, where I bought it from, and just the collection as a whole. Oh, and before I forget, you're not actually going to see me styling the skirts. I love me a good, completely color coordinated outfit, you know, everything down to the earrings, the kerchief, the leggings, all matching. However, that was too much work to do nearly 50 times in a row. So you're just going to get it with a plain neutral top, but just like imagine the really colorful outfits I'd be making with these.
You want to know something funny? I literally never wear this top outside of Renaissance fairs because a plain white top is more costume to me than the brightly colorful ones. If that doesn't tell you about how I dress, I don't know what else will.
And speaking of the Renaissance Fair, this skirt was bought from one. We have a traveling one that comes through our town, and the vendor wasn't even selling skirts, namely. This was like a secondhand bin, but I got a nice long, brightly colored red skirt for like $10, which is insane for Ren Fair prices. I got this skirt at the Society for Creative Anachronism. My local barony has events where they have something called Loki's Garage Sale, a kind of garb swap where people donate the garb and the money raised goes to someone in medical need. Since this is a historical reenactor society for historical times prior to 1600, you're pretty much guaranteed long skirts. No, I'm not a full Scadian. I'm kind of casual, but there really aren't many casual Scadians. However, I will wear historical reenactors garb as my everyday outfits. While those plain skirts might have a really interesting backstory, the rest of my solid color skirts really don't. In fact, for most of them, I can't even remember what thrift store I got them from, but I know I got them all from either thrift stores, garage sales, or maybe got them secondhand from someone else. I don't usually spend a lot of money getting plain colored skirts from places like local stores just because they're utilitarian to me. Like this one, I do like that I have an orange skirt. I actually kind of want to replace this one at some point, but it's most important for the fact that I can wear it during October for all of my Halloween fits. And we're just all going to accept that I'm awkwardly twirling around because I'm not exactly sure how to do this. When I filmed, it was in complete silence, and there's only so long you can stand just playing with the skirt in a silent bedroom. This one I particularly like the color of. And I don't actually have a lot of shirts to wear with it. So like I might start looking for more shirts with this teal color so that I can wear it more because it's just so bright and colorful. Although it doesn't have pockets. If it had pockets, it would be perfect. This one, I'm honestly surprised by how the color comes across. It's a much nicer green IRL. And honestly, this isn't my preferred style of skirt. It's the style of skirt I wore for a long time because that's the only thing I could find in stores. But I do like this color for the tops that I can match it with. I very often match it with my more florally tops for a kind of druid vibe. But I wouldn't mind getting another darker piney green skirt that I could replace this one with. This one is probably my most hobbity skirt, and yes, it has pockets, as we must always mention, but again, it's mostly just what I can wear with this skirt to make an outfit, as opposed to the skirt being important in itself, although I do like the slightly floofierness of it. Yes, I'm using that as a word, floofierness. This one I am actively working on replacing because while I love having a yellow skirt for the tops I can wear it with, I'm not feeling this one. It actually looks better on camera than it does in real life. And I want a yellow skirt, but I want a different one than this. And I'm just keeping it until I get that better one. Speaking of skirts that I only keep for their usefulness, the obligatory long black skirt. And I didn't realize until I put this on how much I look like I'm going to a choir concert. But yep, this is one I rarely wear. Maybe like if I'm feeling witchy in October or, there's a funeral to go to. But you always got to keep a black skirt at the ready. This one is my all-time favorite of the plain skirts because I love purple, and the tops I get to wear with this one are super nice. Of course, it has pockets. Of course, it has light hobbity vibes, and it is swinginess. And if I ever chose to wear a plain skirt just for itself, it would probably be this one. But again, I'm usually wearing like floral and fun tops on top anyway. Up next are my fancy thrifted skirts, the skirts that have some kind of interesting pattern on them. But again, for most of these, I know I got them from some thrift store or other or some garage sale, but I could not name most of these places. A lot of Goodwill, a lot of stuff, etc. and the like. But these are the opposite of the plain skirts in that I will usually wear a plain colored top and let the skirt be the majority of the show. At least in some cases. In other cases, I have actually discovered certain lower key pattern tops that go well with some of these skirts. But some of them I struggle with because this one, I think it's so cute and summery and I love it. But it is so hard to match this orangey pinkish color. So I usually end up wearing like a yellow top to match the yellow accents that I'm just now realizing really don't come across on camera. This one, one of my absolute favorites. I love a patchwork vibe, even though this is like a fake patchwork vibe. I still don't remember what Goodwill I got it at, but I do remember that like I saw it from across the store and like made a beeline and the cashier complimented me on my choice. Still living off that high. For this one, I don't really like the cut. Again, it's a little too close, not enough swoosh, but I love the colors and I love the colorful tops that I get to wear with this one. Great summer vibes, and the material isn't too bad, although it can catch on leggings, so I usually only wear this in the summer when I can wear shorts underneath. This one is probably my favorite darker colored skirt only because I play up the orangey greenness of the accents, which again aren't coming through as much on camera. But again, it's got the swooshiness and I love the outfits I put together with this, with the green and the orange, because I just think that's an underrated color scheme, at least in these shades. But this is also the first skirt where I was like, yes, I am going to make this a style for me. This is one of my newer additions, and I'm honestly still working through exactly what tops to wear with it because there's so many colors in such small amounts, but I love the weight and the feel of it and the double hem, and it's so nice and swooshy, and really, I mean, the farther I get into my collection, the more I value the swoosh. This one I seem to always forget I have until I suddenly find it in my closet again, but I love all the embroidery details. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a lot of little mirrors put into it to catch light. I know this is meant to be a specific kind of cultural skirt, but as I found it in a thrift store, I'm not exactly sure. However, the bright colors make it very easy to make this one into an outfit. Speaking of black colored skirts that are actually really easy for me to make into outfits, I love how the red pops on this thing, and the material, it just feels so good against my skin, and it's one of those skirts that I always get compliments on. And of course, we have the swoosh. Another one of my favorites because it gives off the patchwork feel at the bottom. This one I end up wearing a lot around the holidays, like December, because I can pair it with a nice like deep green top and it looks very like old-fashioned Christmassy. And it's another one of the ones that I get endless compliments on. Like, please compliment me on my skirts. This is another one I wear around December with green colored tops, but like only around December, and I can't figure out why. I cannot figure why my brain says this is a Christmassy skirt and no other time of year skirt. I'm probably going to try to at least wear it a little bit more, get a little bit more wear out of it, so I don't just end up putting it with all the other Christmas clothes. This is another one of my druidy skirts. I usually wear it to make the ultimate hippie fit. And there's a specific top I love wearing with this because it matches the green perfectly and has the most epic sleeves. But I don't find myself picking it outside of that top or wanting that vibe. It's a very specific one kind of tone skirt. I'm going to be real with y'all. I wear this skirt one day a year, and that is the 4th of July. Because when I am invited to family stuff, I need to at least look like I'm trying, and this way we get the red, white, and blue without me actually having to wear, like, the flag, and then the rest of the year it just stays in the back of the closet. This is another older skirt, one of the I want to make this my personal style skirts. It's a little dark, and I don't wear it as much anymore, but I keep it for a lot of the sentimental value because this was the early days of me putting my personal style together. And I can still find some uses for it, but with so many other darker colored skirts, I don't find myself reaching for this one as much, and I don't like the material quite as much. Still adequate swoosh. We now pause the talk of skirts for an interruption from my husband as he's putting away laundry. He is very supportive of my long skirt collection. He always recognizes when I got a new one. But this one in particular, I don't really wear a lot because it's very lightly colored and there's really only one top I like wearing with it. So this is very much a one outfit kind of skirt. This skirt is cursed. It is so pretty. It is so flowy. I'd love to wear it more, but it is so terribly made that nearly every time I wear it, there's some new tear. So it spends the majority of its life on my mending pile. I forget I have it till I get around to another giant bout of mending, fix it, wear it once, and it inevitably rips again. And yay, the cycle continues. This skirt I got from Ragstock, a chain store that used to have a recycled section, specifically with a rack of, quote unquote free spirit skirts that were all these long, brightly colorful, flowy skirts, and I loved it. And now I can't find a store that still sells them, which was my first indication that the trends were truly trending away from me. I don't have very much to say about this skirt in particular, other than I do like just how much fabric it has, and also I've realized just how much I love a red skirt, especially like a kind of rustic-y looking red. I don't actually have that many tops to go with them, though. I should probably fix that. The next trio of skirts you are seeing, I like to call the baddie skirts because they are very similar, right? They are similar brightly colored vibes with similar material. All of them have pockets. All of them are about the same length on me. And while I don't think I got all of them in the exact same thrift store shopping trip, I know for a fact that I got them in like very short period of time. So I hate to say it, but I'm pretty sure we may have lost a baddie that had fantastic taste in skirts. I love wearing these like the very first week of spring. The second I feel the weather turning a little bit warmer, I am breaking these out to manifest the even warmer weather yet to come. And so I would like to give a shout out to whatever baddie went before that gave me these wonderful skirts because they are such a vibe and I love wearing them. The next category of skirts are skirts that I have upcycled or repaired rather than just mended or outright made. This first one is actually one of those old tube dresses. Does anyone remember that? Where we were relying on very flimsy elastic to cover our boobs. I'm not sure what we were thinking, but I do need to like put some actual elastic in this one to make it more definitively skirt-like. The next trio of skirts are in this category because I have repaired them in a much more intensive way than just mending a tear, because in all cases I had to replace the elastic, and that is much more labor intensive than anything else in around like maintaining skirts because it's just so much seam ripping. You have to rip all of the little seams that keep the original elastic in place. And in most cases, the elastic had gone out, and that's why these beautiful pieces were languishing in thrift stores. And that's something I always want to tell people, like, if you want to be as stylish as possible, learning some basic sewing skills, basic mending and repair means that you'll have a whole host of cool clothing opportunities open to you because you're willing to put in the work to get them. And otherwise, they would just be languishing in the thrift store, and often for pretty cheap because they need the repair. I like this one in particular because it gives me like Edwardian school marm vibes, which isn't something I go for often, but it's always nice to have on hand. This one I upcycled from a dress. I love the pattern. I'm pretty sure I got it from a garage sale, and yes, it had pockets, but the top did the weird boob thing, and I don't know how else to explain it other than the weird boob thing. And so I thought, hey, I have sewing skills. Let's turn this into a skirt. And I love it. Again, there's that sense of ownership when you have actually had to like work to make a thing. And so this one is very special to me. Speaking of special skirts, I hand crocheted this one and I freehanded it. I kind of just came up with the idea of the shapes of the panels in my head, and I used it to use up my wide variety of thrifted yarn. And I love wearing this one to craft fairs because the vendors can always clock that it's crochet and they know I made it myself, and so I get so many compliments. This skirt is not interesting for what it is. It's pretty plain. I got it from a Target clearance rack forever ago, but it is the oldest long skirt I own, and it was kind of the starting point for me, the realization that, oh, I could just dress like this just because I want to. So while I don't wear it a lot, I still keep it for sentimental reasons. The next category of skirts are the ones that I bought from local businesses. This one is pretty fragile, so I don't wear it a lot to like work and such, but I do like all the bright colors. However, this one, like the next one, is from a business that is now closed because it is my curse to finally find a small business that sells just what I'm looking for and then end up losing it shortly after because I am painfully in the minority. I need more people to get into long skirts, please. I would like these businesses to keep staying around. The skirts I got from this next business is still around, and they are these sari wrap skirts from a kind of like new age spiritual store. I tend to forget I have this one because it requires very specific styling, and for the longest time I didn't have a kerchief to match the outfit. And yes, the kerchief must match the outfit, okay, but I have since made a new one, so I'm going to start wearing this skirt a whole lot more because look at those colors. It's so deep and vibrant. But this other one is much more patchwork, again, like I love. It does tend to require a little bit more mending because it's patchwork, but it's so worth it. I tend to wear it a little bit more in the autumn just because that's what the colors give me the vibe for, but I have a specific kind of top that I love wearing with it. It's one of those cases where every part of the outfit is going off for me, so it's just a treat to put this one on. The next trio of skirts, because apparently I have a lot of trio of skirts, is all from a local business called Mama Sonia's. It is a store specializing in African clothing and hair care, jewelry, and the like. But of course me, I always go for the long colorful skirts. Like, just look at the pinkness of this one. I'm a little bit obsessed. And of course, we have to have the patchwork. And this one is so well made. Despite all of the patches, I almost never have to mend this one, and I wear it a lot. I love seeing them at the farmer's market or at a store in the mall. I think they're run by like first generation immigrants from Senegal, but I might be misremembering that. Still, the vibes are immaculate, and this one is the ultimate pinnacle of this trio and my collection as a whole. This is like the skirt. I never want to like have to get it messy ever because I love it so much. It is a dashiki skirt made in Senegal out of like full cotton, and it is beautiful to wear in the summer. Keeps you so cool. I get so many compliments on it. Honestly, my all-time favorite of literally every skirt I own. And this one is not part of my daily wear, for obvious reasons. This is a costume skirt. I got it at a thrift store the literal night before we were going to a Renaissance fair because I suddenly decided I needed to overhaul my garb, so I had to mend like giant tears in this just to be able to wear it. Again, if you're willing to mend, you have more opportunities, but I usually wear it as an overskirt to something else for costume purposes, although I guess I could use it as an overskirt in casual wear too. Make my casual wear more whimsical. We pause this collection to have a diva down moment. This mass of scarves is in fact a skirt, specifically a drawstring scarf skirt that I made for the Renaissance Fair. And I put off washing it as long as I could, but Ren fairs get sweaty and dusty, and so I finally did it, and the drawstring promptly came out. It's all tangled up, and I have to find a new drawstring or make one and put it back together. But please have some footage of how cute it looks at an actual Renaissance fair. Adorable. I get compliments all the time, so I'm kind of sad about this one, not gonna lie. So let's turn the mood back around with an unboxing. It is time. It is time to unbox skirt number 50. I was going to wait until I had filmed the rest of this, but I'm impatient, so we're actually filming this before the rest of the video, and I hope all of this flows. But it is time to get this bag open. Okay. Oh, there's another bag inside. Ooh. So which it looks, yeah, it definitely looks a lot darker in person because this is a bluish. Like in person, it's nearly black, but I like it. It's all cosmic-y and yeah, it'll go just past my knees. I'm really excited about this one. Oh, it came from, I should probably say that. How do I pronounce this? Vetiver Fox? Has a nice little card. That's probably going to end up in my junk journal. And then it comes with care instructions, wash cold. Oh, I always wash cold, so that's fine. But you got a cute little card too. Link will be down in the description if anyone else is interested. I believe they were going to re-up stock. Yeah, Vetiver Fox. That's fun. I gotta get it in the wash so I can wear it this week. Thank you so much for watching. I know this isn't my usual kind of content, but this is something I've wanted to do for a while, and I do just want to expand my channel just a little bit into my other interests. And also, can we give a shout out to the pockets on this thing? Whole wallet right in there. Fantastic. But to finish us out, I think we need a good old-fashioned twirl test. That's a good one.